Hi, this is Kimberly. I want to show you today how I made all the little fun embellishments for the scrapbook page. So here's the first page, my Garden of Weedin, and here's the second page. So we're just going to move this up here, and then we'll go ahead and build some of them. Let's do part of the sign first. That's this little piece right here. I'm going to show you a close-up. I've used the Ranger Crackle paint, and I'll have some pictures up that will help you see it better. And I'm going to show you how to do that too. Okay, now I've already painted most of them just because it takes a long time to crackle and dry. You can see that this one, there's still a wet spot right here, and you can hopefully see that it started to crackle a little bit, and we'll ink that when it's done. And the signpost cuts out like this. It's from Walk in My Garden. And for this part, I just cut a second one out, and then I took my scissors and cut those two pieces off so that I will be able to layer it together since it didn't come with a layering function. So that's how that one's built. And then the fence, this one comes from Paper Doll Dressups. And I did a similar thing. I cut out two of them, and then I just cut each little picket out so that I could layer this with dimensional tape. We're going to go ahead and talk about the Ranger Distress Crackle paint. It comes in this cool little bottle. You open it up and it has a paintbrush on it. And show you on a scratch piece of paper. You want to paint it pretty thick. The reason I'm using a darker color is so you can see on the camera how thick to paint it. So you don't want to be able to see any of the other color through it. And that will give you some pretty heavy crackling. Now the thicker you paint it, the heavier your crackles will be, or deeper the cracks will be. This one I painted kind of thin because it's my background piece, and so the crackling is pretty small. We're going to go ahead and use our Ranger Walnut ink. So I'm just inking that, and you can see as I ink it that it's emphasizing those crackles. Then we'll start doing the picket. You're just going to go ahead and ink the edges of each little piece of the fence. Okay, so here's our last one. I just use the dimensional tape. And like I've said before, I use an old yucky pair of scissors because it's hard to get off the knife. So I just have a pair that I just use for this. And so I'm just going to put dimensional tape on each fence post or board so it stands up a little bit. Put that down right there, and it gives it some dimension. And we'll do that to all of them. Okay, so here's our last board on our fence. So there's our nice little fence, and it's dimensional and ready to put on the scrapbook page. Okay, the next one is the little bumblebee. It's the one that's at the top of the page right here. And if you can see, the wings I've done out of vellum. I used the diamond glaze on the wings to make them shiny and a little bit dimensional. So we'll just go ahead and put the pieces on our bee. Okay. And then I actually stuck the bee to the wings before I added the dimensional. Oh, and I forgot, I cut off the top, the head, and I cut off the little stinger. So all that was left was the wings and the body, and then I didn't have to deal with trying to cover those up. So, all right. So there's the little bee. put a heavy coat on, outline first, and then fill in. Okay. And that will dry to look like that. Okay. Now the next one we're going to do is the caterpillar, the body, and then the base. And I went ahead and just inked the whole caterpillar's body with just my dark moss cat's eye ink pad. And in smaller pieces like this, I like to use a liquid glue, or I'll put it through my sticker machine. And so that's going to go right on there. This cute little caterpillar's from the Walk in My Garden cartridge. And I couldn't see the eyes through it since I cut it really small. So I just went ahead and right where the eyes are on the die cut, I just made little eyes. So there's our cute little caterpillar ready to go right on our scrapbook page. Now let's do the little bunny rabbit. Now it's got some fun things about it that, first of all, the eyes and the nose are really tiny, and I wanted to make sure that they stayed on there, and so this whole bunny is glazed with the diamond glaze. I'll show you that. And also, all of its pieces are pop dotted, so it's three-dimensional. And there's fun flock on his little tail, and I've chalked the cheek, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now to chalk his cheek, this is EK Success Chalks, and I just put just a tiny bit. I like to take it off a little bit on a different piece of scratch paper so I don't put too much on. So we'll just put a little tiny bit of that. So I'm just going to barely ink the edges of this. That way they'll show up against the white body. So since the layers are all the same color, you have to do something in order to make it show up. We're going to do the eyes next. And these pieces are so tiny that I like to have something to pick it up with. Now, there's little eye. And here's the little teeny tiny nose. So we're just going to stick it on the end of the paper piercer. And carefully lay that right down where it's supposed to go. Move it around a little bit. Okay, I got a little bit of the diamond glaze on a sponge. And just glaze the whole thing. And this does dry pretty fast. And I'm going to go ahead and put your dimensional tape on. And the bunny's face and head. And get another piece of the dimensional. And stick his hind leg on. Okay. Now with that done, just put some right there so I can dab in it. Okay, then I'm just going to dab it all over. And it seals it and makes it pretty and shiny. I really like that look on this bunny. Just a little bit more right here. Okay,